What is up, guys? Any tier, guild forever, however you want to call me. We're going to be reviewing Inuyasha episodes 64 and 65. Sorry if this got out a little late, and I know the schedule is a bit wonky at the moment, but we're going to get back on track. Don't worry about it. I must do my best to get back on track starting tomorrow, but yeah. Inuyasha. Episode 65 was just hilarious. Miyoga, I can see Miroku being like a future Miyoga. I don't know why, except it's Miroku and Sango. And then the last episode when they finally took care of Tsubaki. Oh man. So much for that. I mean, granted, it took Inuyasha's backlash wave to take care of Tsubaki once and for all, but, if you really think about it, she was done, for the longest time. She was either going to be taken out by the wind scar or the backlash wave, one of the two. She just allowed her jealousy and her obsession for youth to... Sorry about that, guys, burping. She allowed her obsession over her own youth, with Kikyo being better than her, lead her down the wrong track. Even though she wasn't the successor in being responsible for, looking after the jewel shard, doing what she's been doing now doesn't make her any better. If anything, it robbed her of her life, it robbed her of her happiness, it robbed her of everything. She was left with vulnerably nothing. In the end, she basically died a demon. She died a demon. Well, I mean, I will have to admit, Tsubaki's character was by far the most interesting out of most of the villains I've seen in Inuyasha. For me, Tsubaki's a better villain than Naraku. I ain't even gonna front. Naraku is just a little pansy-ass bitch, while Tsubaki at least is going out there getting shit done. So I am not even gonna lie, Tsubaki as a character, definitely liked her character a lot more than Naraku. Liked her I don't know why, I feel like she would be better. It's because she had so much potential. I don't know why. It's because with her connection with Kikyo, her being a dark... think about it. Most of Inuyasha has to do with the jewel shard, which usually is entrusted with the dark priestess. Naraku, or Onigumo, however you want to call him, is just basically a jealous, stupid, cowardly, random demon that is steadily growing more powerful. And literally, he's just a conniving little coward. While Tsubaki would, in my opinion, made a much better villain. Because she has backstory with Kikyo. I'm not saying Onigumo didn't, but her backstory feels more enticing. When Onigumo was just... he's just a force, honestly. He's just a bothersome force. While if Tsubaki was in fact the main villain, then there would have been so much more... it would make so much sense why she did what she did to what happened to Kikyo, Inuyasha, her being involved. It would have been such a better story. And then with her backstory, her backstory would have been so much more interesting. Her growing up, her interactions with Kikyo, seeing how she is with Inuyasha, I'm just saying, it could have been a much better story if Tsubaki wasn't the main villain, but they kind of cut her short. I don't know. In my opinion, if she wasn't going to be the main villain, she could have been one of the top main villains. She did had a good story, but I felt like she had so much potential for so much more because of her relations to Kikyo and how, imagine instead of Naraku orchestrating all of these cowardly little plans, instead of it was Tsubaki going out there getting shit done, making incarnations of herself like Kagura, so on and so forth. Her target would always be Kikyo, Inuyasha having to, do the thing, protect Kikyo and whatnot. It's like, it would have been a much interesting story, and it probably would have given more character to Kikyo herself, because we would have learned a lot more of her backstory, her connection with Tsubaki, all that good stuff. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like they did Tsubaki dirty. I felt like she should have lasted a much longer as a villain. I feel like she would have been a much better, interesting character and villain. Because I'm just saying, a villain who you can care about and a villain who has a very moving backstory would have been much more likable. In my opinion, Naraku doesn't deserve the spotlight that he does. Again, he's just a cowardly bitch, in my opinion. Tsubaki feels like a hardcore, real villain, deserving of much more than what she was given. Honestly, Loki, I felt like I don't know. Her jealousy moved her astray. I mean, I feel like even if she's not the main villain, she could have ended up in a situation to where, like, you know what? She's attacked Inuyasha and his group for so many times. She's starting to realize, why can't I get my mission done? Why can't I take down Kikyo? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Why am I always ending up in this situation? Maybe it's time for a change of heart. Would have been an interesting plot for her character. I don't know. I just felt like Tsubaki's character was wasted. Like, don't get me wrong, she was in fact still a very good character. Nonetheless, much better than, honestly, she's a much better villain. She's probably the best villain I've seen so far. Interesting backstory, interesting thing. I'm just saying, think about it. Good priestess versus dark priestess. That would just entice the show even more. You know what I mean? Having a good priestess and a dark priestess around as the main threat and building up her army, that would have been so much better. I don't know. I just felt like a light and a dark priestess would have done so much better of protagonists and antagonists. I know what you're saying. Some might think then the story would probably been more focused on Kikyo and Tsubaki, not so much in Inuyasha and his group. Not necessarily, because remember, Inuyasha, let's be real, he's still in fact in love with Kikyo. So he would still find ways to interfere one way or another. Now, I will admit, this would have made Kagome's character less needed, which means Kagome wouldn't really need to be around because Kikyo, etc. and so forth. I mean, it depends. You could technically still have Kagome as that other incarnation of Kikyo, and then Kikyo just plays a part in the picture as an old adversary or whatnot to the Dark Priestess. But I don't know. Once again, I just felt like Tsubaki deserved much more length, more time. I felt like she needed more time. Did she shine? Of course. Could she have been better? Definitely. Definitely could have been a much better character. Definitely could have been an even greater character than she already is. But no, we have to keep that little spineless coward. Whatever. Could have had an opportunity for a good, better villain, but you rather have Naraku. What can you do? Either way, don't get me wrong, I'm not disappointed. In fact, I was still very much in love with this arc with Tsubaki. Definitely one of my favorite arcs of Inuyasha so far. Was possibly the best one yet. Who knows if they have something else up their sleeve to top this one, because if they do, I look forward to it. But anyway, let's just get into questions. Question 1. Who would you rather have as the main villain of Inuyasha, the series? Tsubaki or Naraku? And explain to me why. Question 2. Am I the only one who finds Tsubaki more likable than Kikyo? I don't know. Tsubaki has more charm. She's, I'm not gonna be real, she's hella hot. And I don't know, just her personality is just more interesting. While Kikyo for the most part in this Inuyasha series has been by far the most boring character I've seen. My opinion, some of you are gonna disagree, but it's okay. We're all entitled to our opinion. But the point is, I find Tsubaki much more interesting than Kikyo. I feel like, my personal opinion, I feel like Tsubaki does deserve that shard more than Kikyo. My personal opinion. True, I don't like Kikyo. True, I find her boring. I like Tsubaki. I don't find her boring. I find her interesting. That's just how I see it. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, sub if you haven't already. Really motivates me to put more content out there for you guys as my guildmates. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.